Next player on this list, quarterback, University of North Carolina, Drake Maye. He more fits the traditional mold, of what a quarterback, quote unquote, looks like, in that he's 6'4", 220. Caleb Williams unofficially is a 4.54 guy. Unofficially, Drake Maye is a 4.78 guy. Both these guys are really good in the open field. Even though Drake Maye is 6'4", and looks like a pocket passer, he's pretty athletic, and our comps reflect that, and we'll get to that in a second. Tell me what you like about Drake Maye, UNC, whose brother, by the way, played basketball at UNC.
Yeah, well, before we get on to Drake Maye, the game, because Debo put a lot of effort into putting this show together, and you forgot as a host.
But I forget.
What game are you looking forward to?
Oh, shucks. Thank you.
3. And my response to Caleb Williams was the Utah game, because they always have great defenses. He lost twice to Utah last year, a 43-42 shootout during the season at Utah. And then in the Pac-12 championship game, they got beat pretty bad. So that would be the game that I'm anxious to see how Caleb Williams responds to me. Not only the best defense in the Pac-12, but one of the best defenses in the country. Checkbox, Debo. I'm here to help.
Thank you. I'm glad you caught that, because that's important. And I'll mention quickly Caleb Williams. I put three games down because I can't follow instructions. Colorado, because I want to see what that looks like. Coach Prime, as you make the face. Shadur Sanders, Coach Prime's son, will be the quarterback there. Washington, which has Michael Penix Jr. against Caleb Williams, and then finally the Oregon game, which is Bo Nix. So those games.
But you really put some thought into it when you want to see what he did last year against a very good defense. And
I'm going to watch all of his games, but these are the ones I want to see have the two quarterbacks going head-to-head matchup.
The Utah game?
I do. It's on my list.
Okay.
You already mentioned it.
Yeah. Well, you should have put that on the top.
I forgot about it altogether. Thank God you were here.
Yeah, revenge game.
Revenge game. Oh, there it is. All right, let's go to Drake Maye now. And this time I will remember the games that we should keep an eye on. I think we had similar games here too, but you may find something to complain about there as well. So tell me, Drake Maye, 6'4", 220, incredibly athletic. We'll get to the comp in a second, but what do you like about Drake?
Yeah, love his size, love his athleticism for his size. He's not Caleb Williams athlete, but he's more than athletic enough.
Yep.
He can buy a second chance in the pocket. He has excellent vision down the field. He can see over top of the offensive lineman. He has top arm talent that can make all the throws at the next level. He can squeeze the ball in tight windows. You see him put a lot of balls in tight windows. Played very, very well in the bowl game against Oregon. I thought that was one of his better games. I saw him play live in Miami. He did throw 2 interceptions that game, but you can just see the command, and you can just tell he was different than everyone else on the field. And both those interceptions, when he forces the ball, and a couple of interceptions that he makes, is because of forced throws down the field. But during that game, you've seen the deep ball accuracy, just makes impact type plays and game-changing type throws. I think this guy is number 2, and I think he's a close 1. I don't think he's better than Caleb yet, but it'll be interesting to see how the race starts from today until draft day. But I think he's a franchise-type quarterback as well.
Yeah, that's the thing. I sound shocked that maybe you have him closer than maybe I do. But again, it's July 6, 2023. A lot can change. You just talked about Joe Burrow. He was on no one's radar. Zach Wilson was on no one's radar really this time during their heading into their final years in college football. One of the things that concerns me about Drake, and we just talked about this with Caleb, the footwork is all over the place. And again, I don't know if that's a function of the offense, because a lot of the complaints you hear when you talk to teams and coaches even about the UNC system is that it's pretty simplified and sometimes hard to get a read on how that's going to translate. That's not Drake Maye's fault. Certainly, but that's just something to keep an eye on. I thought that he gets through his reads perhaps better than anyone in the draft class we've talked about so far.
I agree.
Yeah, there's some quarterbacks that I like that I watch, and I would like to see more in terms of them doing that. And the athleticism you talked about, the arm strength you talked about, the size. He probably needs to gain 10, 15 pounds at 215. I don't know. He's a little slight of frame. You don't want him taking hits. But it's hard not to like what he has done and what he is going to have the possibility of doing. And one of the things that I enjoyed about watching this, and maybe this is because our buddy Pete Prisco hasn't gotten involved yet and then falls in love with the guy and then makes you hate that guy. But I've enjoyed watching these players because they're really good players and they're making plays and they're not a lot of head scratching mistakes that leave you wondering why am I hearing person X say this about this player that I'm not seeing. And it is somewhat scary that you and I are both on the same page so far. Who is your comp for Drake Maye?
I'm going to go and say a not quite as good yet, but a Trevor Lawrence type is what I thought he was. More Trevor Lawrence, maybe a little Daniel Jones. I see some Daniel Jones in him, which I know somehow you came up with that, but I won't like ruin your thunder here. But I'm going to lean more towards Trevor Lawrence type. Just because
Trevor Lawrence a little rich for me. Although Trevor Lawrence's senior or his final season, his junior year, he had some ups and downs for sure. And I just
say it because this kid's movement skills reminded me a little of Trevor. His length, his arm talent. That's the first guy that popped into my head.
You think he has as good an arm as Trevor?
I think that he does. Yes.
Okay. All right. I'll be honest. Sometimes I struggle when you watch like the sort of the all 22 view, struggle at sort of gauging arm strength. I have to sometimes see it like on the broadcast version.
I'm going off because I did have an opportunity to see him play live.
Right.
And I didn't have any question about the arm strength. Watching the ball come out.
Okay. That makes me feel better because obviously I got a better sense when we went to the pro days as well. If we're lucky enough to do that again, you can certainly get a better sense. Debo, do you know Drake Maye's brother, his name?
Luke Maye.
Yeah, Debo's the basketball guy. If you tell me where Luke Maye is playing basketball right now, I will give you 200 Rick Spielman bucks.
Can I give you the country?
Yeah, give me the country.
Japan.
He, according to Wikipedia, is playing in Spain. I don't even know he's playing in the first division, but he helped UNC win the national title a few years ago. He's 26 now. Really good athlete, and clearly I think his brother Drake might be a better athlete. But anyway, so you and I both like him. Let's talk about games that we're interested in watching Drake Maye play. And I'll let you go first so I don't stomp on your selections.
Yeah, I really want to see him in a rematch against Clemson this year. In that game, in the ACC championship game, he didn't throw any touchdowns and threw 2 interceptions. So I think Clemson, you look at quarterback versus quarterback, which I don't understand because they're not playing against each other. So
but you can kill 2 birds with 1 stone. You get 2.
Yeah, I know. But I try to look at who has very good defenses and who they're going to have to maybe if they struggled some last year against that defense, they get an opportunity to prove a point this year. So I had the Clemson game, which I believe is November 18th, as a rematch for him and see if he can play better than he did in that ACC championship game.
Yeah, that Clemson game is a good game because they have a lot of dudes on defense, like a lot of dudes, and that always seems to be the case. The quarterback situation will be different in that DJ Uiagalelei is now at Oregon State, so we'll see how that sorts itself out. But that's a great call. I went more QB versus QB because I know you love it. South Carolina is a game that I had circled because I want to see Spencer Rattler continue to improve. I think he made incremental improvements last year in his first year at South Carolina. Miami, that's the game you went to last year. I want to see what Tyler Van Dyke can do. Not a great athlete.
I know, but how do you justify that statement? I still can't get that wrapped around my head. Just like when we did that list that one time, I don't understand. I don't want to go redig old bones that we had buried that still.
Yeah, you already buried me.
But this one I can't comprehend. I apologize.
Well, I think part of it is I want to see like an exciting football game, and I want to see if, for example, Drake Maye comes down the field and gets UNC up 14-0. What does Spencer Rattler do? How does he respond in terms of keeping his team in it? If he throws an interception, does he drop his head? So I want to see sort of the both sides competing aspect of it. You want to see good versus good offense versus good defense that causes the quarterback to have to prove he can do things that he's going to have to do at the next level.
Yes, that's common sense to me.
You can do both. So what I'm hearing is that you're not going to watch any tape of Drake Maye against South Carolina, Miami, and Duke.
Now, why wouldn't I do that?
Well, that's all I'm doing. Those are games
No,
I'm excited
yeah,
to see.
the point was if you follow Debo's instruction, which
What do
are
you say?
unclear, what match up one game that you're looking forward to next year.
And that's what I
Went
selected.
back and looked at the game that he probably struggled in, a game that is going to have very good defensive talent, and how is he going to respond this year after not playing maybe his best game last year?
And I appreciate your thoughts that you put into your decision to come up with a game that you were interested in. Well, you said that Drake May and Caleb were close, so clearly top 5 pick for Drake May as well.
Yes, no question.
Okay. What'd I say? I
And
think
it's going to be 1-2, just like we saw Bryce and CJ Stroud this year.
Is it a stretch to say that Caleb plus Drake are better than Bryce plus CJ in terms of what we might see the next level as
Yes.
rookies when you're 2? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I think so
And
too.
as of July, whatever date this is.
July
Yes.
6th as we do this. Yeah. No, I think that's right. Okay.